April 19th, 2013, from the stylish high-tech above-ground studios of Ribbit Media in Providence, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies. For April 19th, 2013, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. Fox News, Jay-Z and Beyonce go to Cuba because who cares? Boston Marathon bombing. Tight-lipped authorities offer platitudes, few answers. News media provides analysis rather than news or facts. Always ready to help, Westboro Baptist Church promises to attend memorials. Justin Bieber visits the Anne Frank house, or how to turn a non-event into bad press. Heavy metal 60-somethings Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne are not cohabitating. Gasp! Fox News crawl headline, quote, horror on the home stretch, end quote. How long did it take him to come up with that? And then, quote, capturing the chaos, end quote. And then, Fox News has a theme song for the Boston bombing. Also, Tag Romney has a message of inspiration. Ricin letters to President and members of Congress intercepted. Paul Kevin Curtis of Tupelo, Mississippi, arrested. He's got 3 first names, he's an Elvis impersonator, and a bit of a conspiracy theorist. Sounds like we have a winner. Sarcasm off. Gold price falls by 10% because the economy doesn't suck as bad as everybody hoped it would by now. And that's sad. Actor Richard LaParmentier, Admiral Motti on Star Wars Episode 4, is dead. Look who's not chiding Lord Vader for his sad devotion to that ancient religion now. Windows 8, a lesson in not learning lessons from lessons learned. Even tech journalists with long histories of being pro-Microsoft are turning up their noses and running from this techno turd. Alex Jones, complete loon or complete loon? Conservative talk radio person who won't shut up, Alex Jones, whom you may recall challenged CNN host Piers Morgan to a boxing match to prove that violence is not the answer, has now come out stating that the Boston Marathon bombing was a false flag operation. A false flag operation is an activity wherein covert operatives in the employ of one nation or other entity conduct an attack pretending to be forces from another nation so as to foment conflict between the attacked nation and the pretend nation. In this case, Jones appears to be suggesting that the U.S. federal government or rogue elements therein have perpetrated this attack to make us angry with some other power. But he has not gone so far as to divulge whom he thinks the real attacker is, or whom the real attacker is pretending to be. That's the mark of a real investigator. Speculate on the origins of an attack from hundreds of miles away and within mere minutes of its occurrence, with no more to go on than the reporting of Fox News. Good job, Alex. You know something, Alex? You are a false flag operation. You wrap your hate, greed, and paranoia in the American flag and call it patriotism, then you traverse the landscape smearing your own bile and shit on everything and everyone and blaming someone else. If that's what American patriotism is, or at least is supposed to be, then count me out. My personal integrity here and now is worth a lot more to me than where in the world my mother happened to be when she went into labor. And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Well, maybe not. Pope Francis, hypocrisy is bad. Well, duh. The new pope should get some props for saying that inconsistency between word and deed is undermining the credibility of the Catholic Church. Sure, it's obvious to us non-Catholics, and I would imagine it's even obvious to some Catholics, at least some, but it's the elephant in the room. It's the turd in the punch bowl nobody wants to mention. Of course, the Pope could have gone a little farther and said something like, quote, stop raping children, end quote, or, quote, if we catch you, we'll excommunicate you, turn you over to the secular authorities, end quote. But Considering the uselessness of his predecessors on this issue, I'll take this, for now, as a tiny step in the right direction. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsUndies. If you see news that shouldn't be news, you can submit your story tips online at NewsUndies.com. NewsUndies is a weekly show, and we'll be back on Friday, April 26th with fresh undies. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, ignore us on MySpace, tell your friends, and buy NewsUndies Kitsch. Thanks for watching. Until next time, for all of us here at NewsUndies, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be trying to get Alex Jones's autograph. I'll bet that's a text message.